Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Brian, and today we're back with another part of the Biltmore Estate. So really quickly, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm trying to speak really softly because my family is asleep right now, and I don't want to wake anybody up recording this video. So enjoy the ASMR while it lasts. If you're into that kind of stuff, if you watch those kind of videos, then maybe this is one for you. That being said, I hope all of you are having an amazing day or night wherever you are, and I hope that all of you are enjoying everything that life has to offer. I don't know if that's like too philosophical for this right now, but I don't know. I don't know really what to talk about. I've tried recording this several times now. Actually, I tried recording this a few hours ago, but my power went out, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But I hope that all of you are just having an amazing day overall. For me, today, it was not the greatest day for anything. The power went out for about 7 hours, and where I live, we got some snow a few days ago on Tuesday morning, actually, which, let me see, Tuesday was the 16th, so that's actually yesterday. Gosh, I'm so messed up. My schedule is completely messed up from all that. But we got some snow, and my college classes were canceled for Tuesday and today, and unfortunately I have to go back tomorrow, but that's something I'll just have to deal with. So unfortunately, like I said, the power went out, and it was out for a good 7 hours or so, and it got really cold in my apartment. We tried to keep it pretty warm in here, and so I think we put it at about 72 degrees or so, just like average temperature. And when the power went out, it was out for so long, I want to say the inside thermometer or whatever, thermostat, whatever, it read about 50 degrees whenever the power finally came back on. It got so cold so quickly, and I'm just so appreciative for the power of electricity. You never really think about things like that until you lose them. Technology is one of the big things I guess we all depend on, or most of us at least, in a first world nation, and you know, that's just something that happens with the outages that we have to deal with, unfortunately. So yeah, like I said, I am a college student. I did go back to classes last Wednesday, and I am currently taking 4 classes. And I start every day at 8 a.m. and I get out before noon every day, so that gives me time to pursue some other different things like YouTube, for instance, which I never used to have time for. And I think that's really good. For me, it's given me a chance to explore different things that I might be interested in, and I never really had that before, that opportunity, or that time, for that matter, to be able to do things like this. And so this is a big step for me with this channel and everything, because it means that, for me, it means that I finally have the chance to pursue something that interests me, and I'm not sitting in a classroom and being told what to care about, if that makes any sense. That's kind of how I feel sometimes in school, and I've really found that college allows me to have the time to be able to pursue different things, and it's actually going a lot better than I thought it would. I freaked out the whole first week last semester, which was my first one. So technically I am a freshman if you look at how many semesters I've been in college, but with my credits and everything carrying over from high school and AP classes and all that stuff, I'm actually a sophomore, I want to say, but I'm not really sure about that. So anyway, right now in the build, we are working on the library of the Biltmore Estate. And this is one of the most beautiful and grand rooms, and I don't really think I was able to do it justice in The Sims. I know that's not something a creator ever wants to say, but I'm here officially on record saying it, because the real room, it just looks so much bigger, and there's so many more features that I wasn't able to recreate in the Sims game. So I don't really know exactly. I tried to do my best, though. I don't really know exactly if there were any things I could have added to make it look more closely to the other one. I've really found that as far as like scaling went, I didn't have enough room to put a lot of things, but I did my best with what I have available, and I think I did an okay job. It's not the best, but I don't think it's the worst at all either. This is a really big project that I'm undertaking, and with all of the great things that come out of it, there's going to be some things that aren't so great. So I'm just getting used to that, and I'm just trying to figure out exactly how all this is going to work out. So I went into my game today and I was going to be playing a little bit of The Sims earlier today just to kind of like play around with it and see what's new or whatever. And I noticed something, and I don't pay attention to dates, I guess. I need to start doing that. But the Laundry Day expansion came out for The Sims 4. And I was wondering if any of you guys are going to be buying it. I might actually be buying it. I don't know, though. I haven't bought the Toddlers expansion or I don't know if it's the Children's expansion. I don't think I bought those. I don't know if I'm thinking of the right ones. I know it's the Toddler one, definitely, because I haven't heard that many great things about it. I've heard a lot of people say that it's not worth the money, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm spending my money wisely or putting it to good use, like I was going to say, but something sidetracked. So yeah, I really want to know, are you guys going to be buying the Laundry Day expansion, and what do you think about it if you have it already? That would be really interesting to hear some feedback about that. But that got me thinking, because I went and looked at the post a few days ago about how they went about creating the expansion for The Sims 4. And I was looking at some of the concept artwork, I guess you could call it. And one of the things that I saw in there that they were actually going to do was an 80s theme. And that got me thinking, I think it was called an 80s arcade theme. And that just got me thinking, how cool would it be to have some of that kind of stuff in the game? And then I was like, well, you know, I could talk about in my voiceover about what would I want to see in The Sims 4. And so I have a list here. Believe it or not, I actually prepared a little bit more for this video than the first one. I didn't have anything prepared for the first one. But this video, I actually have a list. It's in a little Word document open on another tab. And I made a list of a few things, and I want to know what you guys think about this. So like I said, with the whole 80s thing, and by the way, I am obsessed with the 80s. I've been like that ever since high school. It's just like one of my favorite decades of all time. And so I was looking at, thinking that maybe it'd be cool if in The Sims 4 we had things that were stereotypically like 80s inspired or associated with the 80s. Things like shopping malls and arcades and just general 80s stuff like, what else? Like maybe like Wayfarers. I know we have glasses like that already. Parachute pants, the shoulder pads, like a new music station and everything. I think that'd be really interesting and see exactly how they took that artistic direction. And, you know, like what they did before with The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, I think they could definitely incorporate some of those items and some of the music that they had from The Sims 2 into a station, as well as some new stuff as well. I think that'd be really cool to see exactly how they took a spin on the 80s and put it in The Sims. But then that kind of led to another thing where maybe they shouldn't just do the 80s. Maybe they should have stuff from a lot of other decades too. And for me, I'm just thinking like, okay, it'd be so cool if, like in The Sims 3, for instance, we had a 70s, 80s, and 90s expansion pack. And I thought that maybe it'd be cool if we had something similar to that in The Sims 4. Not exactly like the one was in Sims 3, but, you know, kind of like the same concept, the same idea behind it. I thought that was really cool when they did that. And I thought a lot of it was cool. I saw in The Sims 3, for instance, they had the 3 paintings. I think it was of the women, and that was inspired by one of my personal favorite pop artist, Patrick Nagel. For those of you who don't know, you can go look up his art, but I absolutely love his style and everything, and the whole aesthetic of his work. And he actually designed the album cover to one of my favorite albums, Duran Duran's Rio, which is from '82, if you guys listen to any of that music. I absolutely love that album. It's one of my favorites, like all-time favorites. But yeah, I thought that would be really cool if they reincorporated that into The Sims 4. My only thing about, I guess, carrying things over from The Sims 3 was a lot of people had complaints that the expansion with The Sims 3 wasn't, I guess, conclusive enough. Is that the right word? There, people complained that, from what I've heard from friends and people who I've watched YouTube reviews of, excuse me. Okay. Ooh, I swear to God, this weather's getting to me. But I thought that where was I saying? Okay, so for instance, people were saying that a lot of the stuff in the game, there wasn't enough content for the price, and they weren't really impressed with a lot of the stuff that was in it. And I can understand that. They had a lot of things they could have done that weren't done, and some of the things that they had in the game were very generic. But at the same time, I think they did a good job as far as what they did present. I just wish they would do it more, I guess to like a greater extent, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that would definitely be something interesting. And then talking about just random decades, maybe if they had like a 40s theme, like the big band theme, I absolutely love that. I don't know if Sims has ever done that. And that's something that I'd like to see how they would do that. Like adding a big band station and then some 40s like vintage clothing and stuff like that. Or they can do like Roaring 20s. I know, I don't think it was in the Sims game itself, but I know that I personally bought the 20s expansion from the Sims store. I think they could do something like that too. Just random decades. They can even do Victorian stuff, which that's like, people don't think of like the Victorian era as like a decades expansion for Sims, I guess you could say. But I think that would also be pretty cool. Something else I put on there is university. And as a college student, I think it would be so cool to be able to play The Sims in The Sims 4. I know Sims 3 had this, but I'd like to see a university expansion come to The Sims 4. I absolutely loved the one in The Sims 3. And I'd really like to create Sims that are, around the same age as me, or, going through the same stuff as me, picking classes and choosing a major and pursuing a degree in college. I think that would be so cool to be able to play as a Sim that is just like me. And that's kind of one of the things I like about the Sims series. And I think that would add so much more variety to what we are able to do right now. One of the other things I'd like to see is vacations, more vacations, vacation worlds especially. And I know we have Granite Falls, and I love that so much because it does give variety to the game. But I'd like to see some kind of like beach world or some kind of like resort or something like that. And that kind of went into another thing, just more worlds in general. I'd like to see something inspired by New York or Miami or Los Angeles, and those are like my 3 main cities that I really like. There are other ones obviously globally, like Paris, France, for instance, absolutely gorgeous. I'd love to see that. I feel like they would add that if they did in a Worlds expansion, which is something else I'd like to see. But going back to the ones that I listed, Los Angeles especially, I'd like to see The Sims 4 have celebrity status. And this is something that was presented in the Sims 3 late night expansion, and it was, I guess, further looked upon in the Showtime expansion. I don't know if I'm using the right words right now, but I really don't care. So I think that would be so cool. I liked being able to start from nothing and have my Sims network with other people in the game and do certain things and perform at certain gigs. And then eventually, they go from nobody knowing who they are to all of a sudden they have a fan base and they're being followed around by paparazzi. And I like that. It added a lot of stuff to the game that we didn't have before. And I'd love to see that in The Sims 4. Some more stuff I'd like to see, and this is just a general statement, this is very broad, this isn't specific like some of the other stuff I mentioned. I would like to see furniture, more furniture. I'd like to see more modern styles, more contemporary styles, more traditional as well. And I think with Sims 2, they did an expansion pack with IKEA. I'm not saying necessarily do a branded expansion pack like that was, but I would just like to see more variety in the game. I'm not complaining about what we have, because we do have a lot of stuff, and they have expanded a lot of it since the very beginning. I would just like to see a lot more stuff that I would find in a real person's home. Like some of the furniture, for instance, is very heavily stylized around like a vampire's theme or something else, like, you know what I mean. And I'd really like to just see real people furniture and real people stuff, if that makes any sense. I'd like to recreate my home or, apartment, or, just make a house that I feel like people would actually live in. Not to say I can't do that now, I'd just like to have more choices. And that goes for like all like the 3 styles, like modern, contemporary, and traditional. And something else that I'd like to see too is more door and window choices, and maybe even 2-floor windows. I don't know, 2-floor columns as well would be great. I found myself in one build that I was doing off camera where I was trying to stack the columns, and stacking the columns doesn't always look right, at least to me, especially if you're doing a column to a Roman style build, I guess you would say, a Roman revival or Greek revival build. you want to be able to have those tall columns that span 2 floors, and I don't think you can really achieve that well in the game at the moment. So I'd really appreciate a feature if we could have columns that were multi-level and windows that were multi-level. I think that'd be really good. That would add a lot of stuff to the game, especially for someone who does a lot of building like me. I think we'd all really appreciate that. So really quickly before this video ends, because we're at 15 minutes and the video is about 20 minutes long, so I have about 5 minutes. I can talk a little bit about my laptop fiasco really quickly. So I have this laptop that I had from Christmas of 2015 or 2016, and just recently I was able to reorder a battery and a charger. There's a whole thing behind that. Basically, my first charger got stepped on and the little prong that went into the computer was crushed. And then the next one I got, we ordered from them last year, and it was actually, the wiring was splitting from the box itself, so that wasn't good. And long story short, we ordered the stuff last week, and I plugged everything in, and I charged it and everything, and what happened was whenever I finally was able to get the laptop fully charged, like, I charged it for 2 hours, and I came back to it, and I pressed the on button. It started making noise, and it was playing this little melody. And when I went and looked it up on Dell's website, apparently it means my motherboard is fried. So I don't have a laptop now, and I really would have been able to use one, especially doing this, because I wouldn't have to toggle out of my game. I could just have reference photos open on my laptop. Now I don't have that, and that sucks, and it's not great. So yeah, there's that. That's basically my whole laptop story. And really quickly, I just want to give a shout out to the Reddit user 21. I'm going to have their username come up on the screen right now. This person was so supportive of me when I posted my very first video, I guess you could say. I posted a link to my first video on Reddit, and they actually said that they went on a tour of the Biltmore Estate recently, and that they had photos of the rooms, and they offered to give me any assistance and send me any of the pictures if I needed them. And so if you're watching this, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate the support that you sent me. It really means a lot to me. So yeah, believe it or not, I guess this ending is like 2 minutes long now with thumbnails, but you could just see some of the stuff that I've done. It took me a long time to do this, but even longer to do this voiceover. Like I said, this is something I'm brand new to, and I'm just getting used to, and it's a learning curve for me and a process that I'll just have to go through as a new YouTuber. So with that being said, I do want to give you guys a little bit of news as far as my next video. Don't worry, I will be continuing this, but I did participate in a Sims 4 Build and Share challenge. I'm participating in Build and Share's challenge number 86, which is a library for Newcrest, and you can check it out at the link down below in the description. But my next video I will be doing is that, and I'm entering into that challenge, I guess. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for the support and all the feedback that I've gotten so far. I really do appreciate everything you guys have to say, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.